just because it's the thing to do. You know what I'm saying? And that's that's the kind of vibe I'm getting from a lot of the student body at Marshall. They come to this because it's the thing to do.
Well, why didn't you go after that subject and ask the student body, why do you feel like it's more the thing to do than dismiss this?
Well, that was kind of the gist I was trying to drive into, and then I completely failed.
You really failed.
And I failed at it.
Let's get some more phone calls in. Sherman, you're on Supertalk 94.1 FM and AM 930. Welcome, Sherman.
Hi, thank you. Thanks for allowing me to call in. It's my first call into this station, and probably not my last. I was reading this article after a friend had submitted to me, and I live now in Cincinnati and grew up just outside of Huntington, and up until probably in my late teens, I was pretty, I would say, ignorant of the plane crash that happened in 1970, and I was just completely flabbergasted when I drove down Old US 62 and saw this marker for an incident that occurred so long ago, and there was a pile of flowers, and it was right after they had memorial service, or like a remembrance service, and I think, and I did some research, and it kind of hit home that there was this major incident, and every plane crash, whether it's in Huntington or if it's in Lexington, time doesn't heal it. It doesn't heal all wounds, and I've been listening in on with various callers and so forth, and I agree with a lot of points. But just reading from the article, and it's just reiterate what so many have said, that this is probably one of the more disrespectful articles that I've read. And I don't know if it's because you are young, or if this is just a quick and dirty job for you, but I would have written more in response, in an initial response to this, on the comment page for your newspaper. But I came across, this is on your Facebook profile, and what you post on your Facebook profile is not private. You may be able to hide it from people, but when you post something on February 13th, and you made this internet meeting on quickmeme.com, and you have this college student, and the text that is above that reads, "So why doesn't Marshall University have a flight schedule?" And underneath that you put, "Oh," and that is, this is February 13th. This is not November 12th or 13th or 14th or anywhere near this anniversary. And it kind of makes me wonder, if you take this incident seriously. And when I read your article, and when I look at your Facebook profile, and I'm not friends with you, and on Facebook, and I don't care to read your profile, but this stood out, and it was pointed out to me by several people, and it's been posted around. And it makes me wonder how seriously you take your job, or how seriously you take any future employment, because anyone is going to go on here, query your name, and this is what they're going to come up with. They're going to come up with time heals all wounds. They're going to come up with these internet memes that you write. And I don't think you understand them. Maybe it's just because you're young, but you might not understand that what you write and what you post have consequences. As someone who's been on, numerous search committees for, job applicants and so forth that have been wanting to work here at my university, if I came across any of this, for a writing position or for any position at all, I wouldn't hire you. It's just simple as that. What you write will haunt you in the future. What you have written will certainly haunt you, and you can't just go out there and erase it. It sticks, and especially if it's on the internet. It sticks. I don't know if you plan on writing a retraction. I know someone under the Twitter handle Bishop Nash is going to write a response, and even just based on his Twitter, he writes in, "I lost family in it." Well, it's great and everything, but that should have happened, shortly after this, or this shouldn't even, gone to print. And when you were describing, the process of how this article gets published, it makes me wonder how much oversight is given. You would not be able to do this if you worked for the Herald-Dispatch or the Cincinnati Enquirer, or even, even some of the smaller publications I've worked with, like, around Cincinnati and around Ohio. There are editorial standards. I'm just really disappointed that this article, was able to be published. And I'm really disappointed not only in Henry, his whole mindset. I'm just disappointed in this. I'm also disappointed in the newspaper, not so much the administration, because I clearly think that the editor here, would be at fault.
Thanks, Sherman. We appreciate it. What's your response to that?
Well, at the end of the day, I wrote what I wrote. It was printed. Now I'm just dealing with it.
Would you change anything? And I don't mean the incorrect language you said to direct the audience. Would you change any intent of this, or would you change content? What would you do? Or would you do anything different at all?
I think what I would do is I'd probably take these last two paragraphs I have here, and I probably would have expanded that, and then probably expanded that, and probably because the whole thing was trying to lead up to this very positive, last two paragraphs here. I think I probably should have expanded that, and then maybe be able to have a different approach to questioning the student body's, feelings on all this.
Let's get back to the phones. We've got a lot of people who want to join us. Let's skip caller one, Dennis, and let's go to Jared Fialco. Jared used to work in this market, and he is an outsider of sorts because he came into the market. Jared, you're on Supertalk 94.1 FM and AM 930.
Good to talk to you again, Paul.
Wish it was under better circumstances, Jared, but good to hear your voice.
Good to talk to you all again, too. I guess the one thing that I wanted to stress the most is that, coming to Huntington, I came to Huntington in late 2006. It was actually right after my station at the time, WRVC, had the green carpet premiere for We Are Marshall. So I wasn't as well versed in terms of, what the tragedy meant to the community as others might have been. I grew up in northeastern Pennsylvania, far away from, West Virginia at the time. I really didn't know what that had in terms of an effect on the community, an effect on the university. So I guess my biggest piece of advice to someone in journalism is this: know your market. Know your market inside and out, and know what an article, a story, a feature, whatever medium of journalism you're in. Know how your market is going to react, because that's the sort of thing. I mean, you don't go to Kent State and say, "Hey, did time heal everything?" As someone who went to Syracuse University, you don't go there and say anything bad about Pan Am 103. That's just the biggest advice I can give to this young man as a journalism student. Know your market. Because I think had he, grown to understand just the deep levity and the meaning of, what this event did for the community, I don't think the words would have been written.
What's your response to that?
That is the biggest advice that I could give to a journalism student, is just make sure you know your market inside and out. I think had he, attended as many of the ceremonies, as we had, and heard some of the stories, from players, from just people who live there, he would have a deeper understanding of just the situation. And I don't think he would feel the same way.
What are your thoughts on that, Henry?